Everybody wants unlimited time off. But how do we actually do unlimited time off? And if you really do unlimited time off, you have to have parameters around it, because otherwise then nobody works. Like, because unlimited time off eventually, like, no, when do, like, oh, okay, I'm going to take this day off, I'm going to take that day off. Like, how do you do that? How do you do that? I recently was talking with a salon owner who's like, yeah, well, we don't do unlimited time off, but you get, X number of days off. And that seems to work pretty well, because there needs to be parameters around it. There needs to be a rule around that. And I think that this is one of the most misconstrued, like, buzzy keywords going around in our industry right now when it comes to hiring. And that's, there's unlimited time off. Well, that's fine. Like, you can have time off, but then if people are working the standard work week now, that's like 20 to max 28 something hours usually, like, it's not full-time anymore, I don't find in most salons, or that's like not what people want anyways, then who's working? If there's unlimited time off and we have these limited schedules to begin with, like, who's working? Right? And so when it comes to the benefits in your salon, I want you to really think about how you position that. And so at my salon, like, absolutely, you can have unlimited time off as long as you can get your shifts covered and that you're not leaving clients high and dry. Like, you can't cancel on clients and it's like, okay, always, unlimitedly. Seems like a word I made up. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't work. And so we have to put parameters around it. So while you have flexibility in your schedule, and maybe you can decide what your working hours are, you set the schedule, and then, like, you set the schedule together, and then it's maintained by the stylist. I like that approach, right? Like, how many hours would you like to work? And does that work for the salon? Yes or no? And then, how many days off would you like? Does that work for the salon? Yes or no? But there has to be a limit, right? And so my perspective is that you can have unlimited time off. However, the time needs to be made up. I like that. I know that's kind of unpopular. But I think you can have as much time off as you want. Not necessarily PTO or anything like that. Just unlimited time off as an employee, space stylist. But the time needs, like, you're committing to me 28 hours a week. And so you can take that time off, but we'll get it at the end of the month one way or another, because how on earth is your salon supposed to meet projections? How on earth is your salon supposed to meet goals when you're relying on this person, giving them employment, and then they're not holding up their end of the deal because they're on unlimited vacation? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so this is really a conversation for us owners, right, that we can be having. And also, this is a conversation you can share with them, that, like, yeah, we have complete flexibility here, but, like, it's a commitment. Like, I'm employing you, so it's not just like, oh, it's great when you're here, and then you, like, run away for 6 weeks and go to Bali for some yoga retreat and then come back and expect everything to be fine. That would be called a leave of absence. Right? And we'll see if we have room for you when you return. So it's also not like, I'm going to take off this day and 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 not get it approved. Like, we have to have some semblance of order around this. And I know that it's uncomfortable because we want to be like new age employers, and new age, I don't know if that's the right thing, but we want to be like modern employers. But at the end of the day, business is kind of old school. Like, it's just black and white. People come to work, they do their job, they get paid, you pay the bills, you make a little profit at the end of the day. Like, this is all really good. It's all really, really good. But then we throw this, like, Instagram BS on top of it, or internet, TikTok, whatever you want to call it. And then we're stuck, like, holding all the responsibilities while employees get to have unlimited time off and no repercussions. Like, I just don't think so. I just don't think that works long term. And so if you are a salon owner that thinks, like, yeah, that is what works, then great. But I bet you have, like, some underlying familial understanding that people know they can't just, like, take off forever. But I think that when you get younger stylists that haven't put the work in yet, or haven't built their clientele yet, they think that the flexibility is great for themselves, but they're not making any money, right? And so then they'll get burnt out and quit. And I think that's where the danger lies in this kind of cycle of, like, yeah, you can have as much time off as you want as you're building, and that's fine and whatever. It's like, kind of not though. Kind of not. So for me, my minimum when someone is building is always 3 days a week. Always. Like, they have to be in the salon 3 days a week. And I really suggest that it's 5. But, that's on them if they're not willing to make that commitment at 5 days a week. But we schedule them so they pretty much are in the salon 5 days a week. But unless, there's some agreement made ahead of time where they're like, no, I can really only work 3 days a week. Like once I had someone who was building, who also had a waitressing job, and she was like, no, I can do 3 really long days. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And she was an amazing asset to the team while she was with us, and she grew her business, and then she went off to work on her own, and that's okay, right? Like it worked. But at the end of the day, like the commitment level was there. I wasn't worried she was like, not spending enough time with us. So I just wanted to kind of have that conversation. I know it's sort of a roundabout ramble here, but I think it's important that when we say, like, to recognize for ourselves, to give ourselves grace as employers, that like it's kind of hard to keep up with all this BS that's getting spewed on the internet, because the people that are saying it aren't actually doing it. They're not doing it. They're not the employer. It's just somebody that has an idea. And like, while ideas are amazing, like it can be a really pretty picture. Like you can draw a beautiful picture online and say that, or on paper, and say that it works. And then when it comes to reality, like it doesn't function. And that's the difference, right? So just give yourself some grace that like there is all this nonsense going around, and like you know your business better than anyone else. You know your business inside and out better than anyone else. So you know if it's going to work for your business or not. You know that. Now, I'll challenge you to think outside the box, of course, and as your business coach, I want to push you to new edges so that we can make your business work better, right? And maybe do things differently. But just because someone says it online, I see far too often people being like, well, then that's the gospel and we're just going to run with it. Like people saying we don't sell retail. I'm like, we do, and it's still very important, okay? We do, and it's still very important. If you choose not to, that's on you. But the salon is blowing it if they're not selling retail, right? And so these new agey kind of, I keep saying that, but like these new modern ways, like they have to work for you, right? And what I know works for me is true business acumen and really treating my business like a business. And I hope that you will do the same.